Olivia, I really think maybe if we put that down on this page and the next one, then maybe we'll be able to do it. So go ahead and write that in. I'm gonna put all these numbers in because there's a lot of stuff that we've got to get into our history book, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Oh, hey, my name's Olivia, and I'm at the Union County Heritage Museum. I'm with Miss Jill Smith. She helps us just make sure everything's working and everything that has a story to tell, every single piece of the museum. And Mr. Steve, he works with Miss Jill, and now we have Miss Kathy and Miss Leanne.
Hello.
They help us work with behind the scenes in the museum.
We're going to talk about our history, about the things that have walked down the Tanglefoot Trail. And I know all of you guys know about the Tanglefoot Trail. That's that fabulous bike trail that goes down by the library all the way through Union County, right? Well, there's a lot of interesting and famous things that have been on that trail, and I'm going to show you some of it. Now, we're going to go way, way back. Who in that world knows what this is? Look. Yep, you're right. It's a seashell. You're going to say, how did a seashell get on the Tanglefoot Trail? I'm going to show you. On this map, and Miss Leanne's going to bring it in close later on. You see where that blue is right there? That's the state of Mississippi. And what does that say to us? Underwater? Yes, it was all underwater millions of years ago. And that's when all kinds of critters walked on that, what was going to be the Tanglefoot Trail, like this beautiful ammonite. And you know what? You can find these things all over Union County if you look. But wait, there's more. What are these? Oh my gosh. Anybody want to guess? Are there elephants in this room? This is a tooth of a woolly mammoth. Oh, I hear one. And this is a mastodon. These were both elephants that lived here in the prehistoric era. And you know what? There's more. Okay guys, I told you there was more. Right behind you, Olivia, is, guess what?
A woolly mammoth tusk?
It's a mastodon tusk. Show us your tooth you got there. Okay, flip it over the other way. I want you to look at the surfaces of these two teeth. This is the woolly mammoth, and this is the mastodon. And this is the jawbone of this mastodon, which is, what do we say? Elephant. And it was found in, oh my goodness, it was found in the Tallahatchie River. And if you don't know what one looks like, Mr. Steve, that is one that it's about 12 feet tall. And you see Mr. Steve is up there on that ladder. That's how big they were. And they were just probably marching all around the Tanglefoot and all over Union County. And I want to think you to think about, what did these critters eat? What do you think, Olivia?
Hard stuff like animals?
No, they didn't eat animals. When you've got this kind of surface, that means they ate grass. Okay, now this is its cousin. This is the elephant cousin. What did it eat?
Not grass.
Not grass, but it pulled limbs down out of trees. That's why it was so tall. So, who knows what's next? When they got ready to, when people came here, there were still elephants. And they used this right here to hunt. And this is a dart that went into this spear, and this is something called an Atlatl. And they threw these and they hunted. Who knows how hard that would be. Okay, y'all getting ready?
Yes.
All right. You see where they've got this Atlatl, and they're going to be like they're hunting the elephants. But wait, you have the Atlatl backwards. Flip that around. That elephant is going to get y'all.
For sure.
There you go. All right, Olivia, you feel like you're going to be accurate with that?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we'll go down to Ingomar Mound sometime and we'll practice throwing, because we always have these Atlatl throws out there, okay? All right, let's go. You know, we've been talking about all this stuff that's thousands and thousands and even millions of years ago.
Yeah.
Well, guess where we are now? We're at a place where written history starts. And you know how we know this?
No,
No.
how?
Because Hernando de Soto came here looking for gold. Is there any gold around here?
Yes.
Gosh, I hope so.
Where is it?
Wow, where is the gold? Well, he didn't find any, but he did have people who wrote down everything that happened, so we have all this written history. And Mr. Steve, what did he bring with him? Hear that?
Pigs. You brought pigs. Pigs.
Do you love barbecue?
Yes.
Well, check
Yes.
it out up here. They're barbecuing those first pigs because, you know, we looked at these fossils over here. There's no pig fossils in North America because they've only been here like 550 years. When we look here, we're still talking about Native Americans right here in New Albany, Mississippi. What do we find? What do you have, Olivia?
I have this piece of pottery, and inside it is a necklace that somebody made out of something. And we also have,
Wait, let's go back.
What?
They did not make that.
what
You know, we talked about those Europeans coming. No, they were traded. When the Europeans came, they brought these, and these are called trade beads. Aren't they beautiful?
Money.
They're made out of glass.
Is it money?
Well, I guess it could be traded. They traded it for maybe meat or information. What else you got in there?
I have this.
Ooh. What do you think that is, guys?
What is that?
It's just a rock.
Yeah,
Just,
Oh, is
It's
it
not
just
a
a rock?
just a rock.
What do you think,
I
Olivia?
agree.
I forgot.
Well, it's a piece of flint that some really smart Native American chipped and chipped and chipped away until they made a tool out of it. And it's either
And that could be like something that you could put on like an arrow that
you,
we just shoot.
you could do that, or you might want to scrape a skin with it. If you hold it like that, you can hold it all different ways. What else you got in there?
I have another piece.
Aha,
Ooh, looks like a snake.
it does. That's why they're called rattlesnake
Oh.
beads.
Scared.
Wow.
There's two of them.
There is. I'm glad there are, because these other ones have another story. We'll hold on to these rattlesnakes, but these are called chevrons, and guess who brought those? You got it, Hernando de Soto. You see him right here with the pigs. And these are the kind of beads that he brought with him to trade, okay? These are some more trade beads that do look like rattlesnakes. They're beautiful. And these are reproductions of those.
Do
But
they make a noise? Do
well, I don't know that they do that rattlesnake sound.
I'm glad they do.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
it would be scared. Thank you, but, oh, Olivia, I want to show you one more thing. You see that purse right there, that little beaded bag? Do you know that was given to a girl just your age by a Chickasaw friend when they left? And Miss Kathy's probably got a picture there about, what they probably looked like. This came from the Chickasaw Nation now in Oklahoma. And look at that. Tell me what you think that those objects are about.
I think this is about like just maybe farming. There's corn and there's corn in her basket.
That's right. And they have, I think they have a green corn ceremony, but you see that dress she's wearing? That's a lot like the dress we have here from the Chickasaw Nation.
It is.
And you know, there was a very, very, very famous person who walked down the Tanglefoot along with the Chickasaw, and Miss Kathy's got a picture of him. You wanna guess who he was? Guys? Mr. Steve.
I know, I know.
It was Mr. Steve?
It was me, yes, no,
I knew you were old.
I think that it's a meteorologist
A meteorologist.
that tells the weather. Was that
Do you think that, Olivia?
Oh, like Meriwether Lewis?
Meriwether?
Thank you, Miss Kathy.
Yes, that's it,
Thank you.
Meriwether Lewis.
Okay, well, Miss Kathy got it. And,
Oh, Chickasaw Indians?
he came down from St. Louis, Missouri and walked through here on his final journey. And what we know most about Meriwether Lewis is he was with the Lewis and Clark expedition that doubled the size of the United States. And it's really important that he walked down the trail. And Miss Kathy, look right here. You see that metal in that case?
Oh, I do.
You see those hands are shaking? Let's shake hands and make it look like that right there. That's what's on that metal. And that means friendship.
Oh, and you're my friend.
We're friends.
Yes,
Well,
you're my friend.
Meriwether Lewis took those medals with him all throughout his travels, and he gave them to the Indian king. Okay, here we go. One more thing. The king that lived in Union County.
Hodapah.
Bless you.
Ishta what?
Hodapah.
Ishtahodapah.
Can you say it?
Can you say that,
Can you say
Olivia?
Ish, Hodapah.
One more time. Ishta.
Todapah.
That's it.
That's
Sort
a
of.
hard thing to say, right? Well, he lived here along with the king before him. And when you go down the Tanglefoot Trail today, you're about 100 yards from his home site. You
Whoa.
could just, and you go across something that tells you that. You go across Kings Creek.
I know
And
where that
that's-
is.
Well, that's why it's named Kings Creek, because of who?
King
Ish.
is
Hodapah.
Hodapah.
Y'all are getting
If you
this.
sneeze, it's much easier.
Well, you know what? We're getting kind of toward the end of the Native American story. And it kind of has some sad parts to it because they're leaving their homeland. And they do something that is very symbolic. And when King Ishtahodapah lights his last council fire, they take those coals from that fire, look at there, Olivia, and they take branches of a plant called sumac. Well, sumac's everywhere here. You come over here to the Faulkner Garden and I'll show you some of that. And they take the coals and they carry them all the way. They keep that fire going from that council fire here in Union County, and they go all the way to their new homeland, carrying those coals and keeping that fire alive. Remember how we talked about the fire, and we talked about how, what? What? Shh, listen. Do y'all ever interrupt and talk over people? Oh my gosh.
Never.
Y'all listen now, you're gonna learn something.
Yes, ma'am.
You remember how we took that fire, the Chickasaws took that fire and they took it to their homeland?
Yes.
Well, you pioneers did the same thing. You brought it down the trail from Scotland and Ireland and other places to North Carolina and South Carolina, and you just kind of came over here. And you brought that fire, those coals in that pot, and you know what, Olivia?
What?
The oldest child in the family had to keep the fire going.
Are you the oldest child?
No.
Are you the oldest child?
I wanna be.
Are you the oldest
I'm the
child?
youngest child.
I'm the youngest child. But if you let that fire go out, you'd be in big trouble. Why?
You couldn't cook.
Couldn't light another fire, could you?
You didn't have any matches. You didn't have a lighter.
Oh.
So you better keep that fire burning. And what were you guys over here looking at?
I like this doll. I wanna buy this doll. Can I buy
Oh,
this doll?
no. But Willis, look at this doll. Who can tell me what it's made of?
It's made of straw. I mean, they might be like, something, no, like the husk of the corn.
She got it.
It's
Look
not
at there.
plastic? I thought it was plastic.
And you buy those at the store.
Who knows? How do you get these?
You have corn.
You have to grow corn, and then you have to shuck the corn. And
What does shuck the corn mean?
what does shuck the corn mean?
You just
You
take
take
the corn out of that stuff right there, and is that a shuck?
This is a corn shuck.
Well, shucks.
Well, shucks. Oh my goodness. Some creative little girl wanted a toy, and she made a corn shuck doll.
Stop
I've got a
playing with
toy.
that flute. Don't
Mr.
play
Steve
with
is
that flute.
fixing to go into timeout. That is not a toy.
It's not a
Miss Kathy?
flute? I thought it was a flute.
I thought it
Okay.
was a flute. Is this a
No. Who knows what this is?
Is it something to make a fire?
No. What about it, guys? Who knows? Miss Kathy?
Well, there's long.
Do you pour something in it?
You're getting warmer.
Oh, you put water in it. That's what
Water,
you
it's
put
a drinking.
Is that what it, you look so
No,
silly.
no.
Do you pour?
What is it, Miss Jill?
You make your own candles because guess what? You don't have any electricity. You have to have light. And so you take hot wax and you pour in each one of those things. And how many candles can you make in that?
1, 2,
Well, a dozen.
Why didn't they just turn on the light switch?
Yeah.
Why didn't they?
because they didn't have light switches.
How do you know so much?
Yeah. She's a good student.
Let me go down the trail.
What is this?
It might be something to maybe like turn butter or something.
Way to go, Olivia. It's a butter churn. Who likes butter and biscuits?
I know.
I like butter.
Yeah, I like butter and biscuits.
Why didn't they just go to the store and buy some butter?
Yeah. To Walmart, maybe.
Why not, guys?
Because there was no Walmart, there wasn't any stores. You had to make your own food there.
You had to make your own food, so you had to get up early and milk those cows, and then we had to churn that butter, and that mama would give the babies a little doll and
A doll.
a doll so they wouldn't, so they could do their work. And Mr. Steve,
You know, that reminds me, girls, of a song my grandmother used to sing to me and all my brothers and sisters when we were little. It was, buy me a China doll. Do you know what a China doll is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, kinda.
Those really pretty glass dolls that have pretty clothes on them. And here's how it goes, okay? Buy me a China doll, buy me a China doll, buy me a China doll, do, mama, do. And then mama says, what will I buy it with? What will I buy it with? What will I buy it with? Do, mama, do. And then it goes through all these things that says, sell daddy's feather bed. Where will my daddy sleep? Sleep in the horse's stall. Where will the horsey sleep? Sleep in the pig's pen. Where will the pig sleep? And it goes through every farm animal in it, and when you're done, you're all snoozing asleep.
and you
That's
made
the
butter.
song. Yes.
And you got the butter made.
Yes.
That's
Buy
a
me a
church
China
song.
doll.
All right, so now we know we have to make our own butter. Well, let's just think about what's this?
Something to hang clothes on, or
No.
Yes, you wash the clothes and you hang them on there.
And you spin them around
spin
and they
it
dry,
around and
right?
They
Oh
dry.
my
This is a
goodness.
dryer.
Oh, it's a dryer, like you get from the appliance store.
Yes.
No, guys,
No.
this isn't it. Have you ever heard of a weasel?
Weasel.
An animal? It's an animal.
You've heard of a weasel, but it's not an animal.
is it
This is a weasel.
Like Pop Goes the Weasel?
Like Pop Goes the Weasel.
Sam knew that.
And see,
Don't know what this means.
you'd wind your thread around this, and when it got to the right size to put on your loom, so you could make fabric to make clothes, it would go pop. A penny for a spool of thread, a penny for a needle, that's the way the money goes. Pop goes the weasel.
See? That's
See?
where that song came
How
from.
about that? And then you've got your spinning wheel and all the other things you'd have to have in your pioneer home. But wait, there's more.
How can there possibly be more?
There's always things with a story. And you know, we're studying Mississippi, right?
Yes.
Well, we're in this darker area, and there's been a war, and New Albany's been burned.
Burned.
Yeah, there
New
was a civil
Albany?
Yes.
burned to the ground. Yeah,
No
put
way.
out the fire. Well, what is this, Olivia?
This is a Mississippi map.
It is a Mississippi map, and what do you see right here?
This is Union County.
That's right, that's when Union County came to be, was right after the Civil War, and you can see how it's popped out here on this map. Now, we're gonna learn more about Union County later, but this is its birthday, and it was July the 7th, 1870.
All aboard, give me your tickets. We're going to go down the Tanglefoot Trail one last time. And not only did the Mastodons and, well, woolly mammoths,
And Hernando de Soto and the pigs?
And Meriwether Lewis and the Chickasaw Indians?
And pioneers and farmers.
Now we see that the Tanglefoot Trail becomes the railway tracks for the Ripley Railroad and the GM&O.
But why did we need a railroad through this part of the country?
Because people rode on trains.
and that's how we got all the food and clothing that we need.
On a train though? I mean, why was there food and clothes and people on a train? I just don't get it.
Because it's a lot cheaper.
That's right, and trains connected us to Tennessee from New Albany and all the way to New Orleans even.
Oh,
It
wow.
was a connection. Let's learn more about the railway station when we get on the caboose.
It's really cool.
Okay, remember we talked about all those famous footprints?
Yes.
Well, the Tanglefoot Trail used to look like this back in prehistoric and early historic days. Who do we see there?
Meriwether Lewis.
That's right, so there's a lot of famous footprints. We see all kinds of people that walk down that trail. And then
The railroads.
the railroad came. Yeah, and look, it says what, Olivia? Read that to me.
Railway Railroad to the Tanglefoot Trail,
That's
right outside the museum.
That's right, and we see all those engines, and we see them building it, and we see them, our depots here.
But today, there's no railroad system through there. What happened?
Didn't there used to be one? Didn't they stop having that a few years ago?
Right, they took that trail up. And when, Miss Kathy?
It wasn't last week. When, 2002?
Right answer. Why don't we go to the trail, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
let's
it's at
go.
my mind.
How did the Tanglefoot Trail get its name, Miss?
Well, when they built the railroad 150 years ago, they used a steam-powered work engine, and it was called the Tanglefoot, and that's how it got the name Tanglefoot Trails. Now, many people still use the trail just as they did years ago. They took the same route because it's 44 miles long, of course. It goes from New Albany to Ingomar, and then Ecru, and Pontotoc. Let's see, Algoma, Hulka, Houston, and we're talking Houston, Mississippi, not Houston, Texas. Now, whoa, goodness. And they can ride their bikes just as you're doing now, and there are those who jog and they run, and they get to see all kinds of things. There are animals and plants and trees, just to name a few. And every time I go, I see right there, like Mr. Steve's doing. So there's just all kinds of interesting things to see on the trail.
We have walked so many miles on the Tanglefoot Trail today.
I know it. My brain hurts, Olivia, from all the things we have learned today.
Oh, I think I need a nap.
Surely there are more travelers on the trail.
Let's
go to the trail.
I'm going with you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.